We are back with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. A few reflections ago, I talked about reason before surrender and the value of reason. I think I even did a two-part reflection on it. Just the value, the importance, the emphasis that this philosophical tradition, Advaita Vedanta, puts towards reason. And in Vedanta Treatise, the book that is the book on this philosophy, in my view, from soup to nuts, the beginning to end, the entire compendium of the philosophy can be found in this book, Vedanta Treatise. And I highly, highly recommend read through the whole thing if you want, but then go back, read 2 or 3 pages at a time to start your day with a cup of coffee, stillness before you check your email, it's right when you wake up, ideally before the sun comes up. 2 or 3 pages of reading Vedanta Treatise. You can do that if you don't want to dive right into the lectures from our teacher, Swami Parthasarathi. If you don't want to dive into the lectures from the ashram in India, which you can do, which I think I mentioned in the last episode, you can do so easily through the comfort of the phone in your pocket, on the couch in your living room. If you don't want to do that, I highly recommend Vedanta Treatise. This whole podcast project is really just an on-ramp to the real material, which is something like Vedanta Treatise. All plain English. There's no woo within it. It is so brilliantly, systematically written that, well, in the case of a reflection on reason, it is all driven through a sense of reason, logic. It's not written from a sense of any leaps of faith, which is quite the task when it comes to a spiritual text. But within the book, page 136, there is a great story about the Buddha also cautioning humanity. This is over 2,500 years ago. Cautioning us on the importance of reason in our lives. So this is a short quote from the Buddha, where he says, "Do not believe what you have heard. Do not believe in tradition because it is handed down many generations. Do not believe in anything that has been spoken of many times. Do not believe because the written statements come from some old sage. Do not believe in conjecture. Do not believe in authority or teachers or elders, but after careful observation and analysis, when it agrees with reason and it will benefit one and all, then accept it and live by it." I'll read that last part again because it is so hard to find a spiritual master that says anything like this. So many of the world traditions where they basically tell you to check your reason at the door, accept, believe, go evangelize. But it's mysterious and we know it doesn't make sense, but just trust in it because that person performed miracles. So you don't really need to understand it all. Just believe and you'll get some massive cosmic eternal reward on the other side by believing. This is a spiritual master that's saying, do not believe. First line, do not believe what you have heard. Second line, do not believe in tradition because it is handed down many generations. But most importantly, the last line, but after careful observation and analysis, when it agrees with reason and it will benefit one and all, then accept it and live by it. After this, Swami gets back to his own words here where, again, don't take any words from a guy on a podcast. Don't take any words from an author of a book that you've never heard. See if it maps to your own experience, your own reason, your own judgment. Don't give it any value because some other people say someone important has said this. And on this topic, it continues. So must spiritual knowledge be taken in regulated doses. If not, the knowledge passes through you without producing the desired effect. You could be well-versed in scriptural literature and not turn spiritual. All the sacred information that you gather may not bring about a transformation in your personality. Spiritual books read or discourses heard could make you a scholar at best. You may even author spiritual books, give religious discourses, and yet remain far from being spiritual. Spiritual growth is measured by the stability of the mind. An unstable mind perturbed in the fluctuations of the external world lacks the elements of spirituality. Such a mind is like milk, watery and easily flowing, whereas a stable mind resembles yogurt, thick and does not run. The process of preparing yogurt out of milk is strikingly similar to making a person spiritual. It has been an age-old tradition among the Indians to make yogurt in their homes. To prepare yogurt, milk is first heated to a boiling point and left to cool to lukewarm temperature. A small portion of the yogurt left over for the purpose is then mixed with the milk. The mixture is left overnight. By next morning, the thin, running milk is converted into thick, formed yogurt. In a similar process, a seeker initially goes through the challenges of life. Later, they choose a relatively peaceful place for spiritual practice. Not the heat of the marketplace, nor the cool heights of the mountain. That is indicated by bringing the milk to lukewarm temperature. The little yogurt of yesterday represents a measured daily dose of wisdom left behind by the sages. That is added and stirred. The spiritual truths taken in have to be reflected upon. The overnight period that the yogurt takes to set indicates that the seeker needs a length of time for the knowledge to seep in. Adopting this procedure, the individual emerges with a sound, stable mind. The stability of mind marks their spiritual evolution. So the process of reasoning, not only is there an emphasis on reasoning, but the process of reasoning is hearing something and then reflecting on it. The stirring might take a few minutes, but then you leave it overnight for several hours. The addition of a new insight might take a few seconds, but it's the reflection over days, over weeks, maybe over months, that creates, that manifests it into wisdom, from information to knowledge to wisdom. Reason and judgment are not instantaneous. A court case might take several weeks. The judgment on a spiritual concept, a knowledge bomb, as I like to call them, it might take days, weeks, months, maybe even years before, as Swami will often say, before the penny drops, before it really hits and sinks in. The reflection that I did in the last episode was around how selfishness leads to agitation. That's a law. You can't have selfishness without agitation. I remember hearing that and thinking, I don't know about that. I feel like there are selfish people out there that seem peaceful, it seem like they're enjoying themselves. I started to think about people that I knew that were really selfish, and I was like, man, they are extremely agitated. Started to think about my own experiences in life. Anytime that I performed something extremely selfish, like clockwork, agitation ate me up on the other side. I had no idea before, and man, I would seek escapism to get away from that agitation. But then when I saw the direct causation, selfish act, oh man, eating me up. How do I escape this feeling? Before I recognized it is completely automatic. But it was a lot of reflection. It was watching selfishness turn into agitation. It was watching unselfishness turn into peace. It was watching selfishness turn into a dissipation of energy. It was watching unselfishness turn into a harnessing, a generation of energy. So this reflection, like a few that I've recorded on this topic before, isn't just on the power, the necessity, the emphasis within this tradition on reason, but it's also on the power and the need of reflection for us to reason properly. It's like that yogurt that needs to set overnight. And the person without reason, these concepts are nothing without letting them set. These concepts no matter how timeless they are, no matter how much they might just hit you right in the center, right when you hear it for the first or 10th time, they're nothing without reflection. Transformation is not instantaneous. That yogurt doesn't become yogurt instantaneously. Rivers, they do not turn at 90-degree angles. They take time. But a deliberate application of ourselves to a practice doesn't just lead to a progression and evolution. But at a certain point, you wake up and a transformation has taken place. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.